there such a motion?
Can I ask if
Go ahead.
everyone vote on that? Did everyone from the plan commission?
Well, let's go, I guess, and clarify that on the motion then to adjourn, or you want to go quickly around the room, or what on the motion to
I just
adjourn?
need to hear it louder, I just couldn't hear if everybody answered.
I answered.
I answered.
I did not answer, I thought that was for the planning commission.
So do you want to, oh, I'm sorry, all right, we can go back through that then, and I guess we should ask for ayes, nays, and abstentions. So on the motion to adjourn the public hearing until March, give me the date, March 12th, all in favor of that motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those who are opposed
Opposed.
Abstain.
and abstentions. Okay, have you got it? Okay. All right, and the adjournment of the planning commission then, did we have a motion for that?
Move to adjourn the plan commission.
Is there a second?
I can second that.
Okay, motion by Supervisor Stigler, second by Commissioner White to adjourn. All in favor indicate by, all planning commission members in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that passes 4-0, thank you. Do we need to take a break, or can we move quickly through the town board business? What's the pleasure of the group? Anybody want a break?
I'm good. I'm going forward.
Okay, thank you, planning commissioners. All right, we'll move quickly then. Discussion and possible action on the 2020 road paving, and request engineer to work with Public Works Director Noli on preparing the package for possible action at the February 27th town board meeting. Good information on that. We've got several documents in your packet. Correct, Kathy? We've got an overall document. You want to explain what that big document
This is
is?
what we got from Piers, it's our updated 2019 rating of all the roads parsed out in sections.
And then you have this legal size piece of paper, which maybe Engineer Janelli, maybe you can even help explain that. We have what the current Hazer ratings description of roads, then there were cost estimates for 2018, 2019, and then we have some recommendations for road projects for this year. That's showing Beheim Road east of Guthrie, pulverized, shaped, and paved, $154,377, and then Glengarry Road, Marcel Charles to Big Bend Road, and Marcel Charles to Marcel Mala Drive. Illinois with base patching, $110,000 for a total of $264,377. Chris, do you want to enlighten us a little bit more on that?
Yeah, so I created just this, talking from this legal piece of paper with all the estimates on it from 2018, 2019. In 2018, Kathy gave me a list of roads to look at and to estimate, and you can see those at numbers populated in them. Those estimates were, for lack of a better term, kind of quick and easy based on typical type of repair for the rating of that road. And in 2019, trying to respond to, budget and pricing, I estimated again those same roads, and you can see there's quite a big difference between the 2 years. Part of that is associated with the price of asphalt went up quite a bit. There was also some local stone companies that consolidated, and stone prices in our area are a little bit inflated. And then there were 3 road segments, now 2, as I understand it, Beeheim and Glengarry, that are kind of being chosen for this year's road program. The estimate for Glengarry, as you can see, is kind of double. The estimate was done from Marcel to Big Bend, but Marcel is a loop road which connects to Glengarry twice. So there are 2 segments of Glengarry, one from Marcel to Marcel and one from Marcel to Big Bend. And they're roughly the same size, each one being $55,000 approximately. So the total of 110 is for that entire stretch. And it's my understanding that we want to kind of move forward with preparing a bid for that work, to be advertised, or to be, I guess, looked at on February 27th meeting, and then put out the bid for March.
Okay, thank you. We, just a couple of things we have, I believe, in Kathy, correct me if this is wrong, but we have $250,000 in the budget for repaving for 2020, correct?
That's correct.
So the engineer Janelli's estimate is for these 2 roads, $264,377, and again, that is an estimate. We won't know the price of that until we get bids in.
That would be correct, and even after you get bids, because things are done by, price, by ton, by, you won't exactly know the exact cost of the project until it's done. So
Sure.
we typically, and you can go back in history and look, I tried to incorporate an estimate that would be somewhat conservative, especially considering there might be some undercutting, which is difficult to estimate, and also kind of pricey when it comes down to construction. So I would, in the past, when I provide an estimate, it's typically comes in less than that when you are paying for it at the end of the project, because we've, in essence, tried to be conservative for your budget.
Okay. So the question, at the end of the question is, are these the roads that we want to do we want to basically take action to direct or request engineer Janelli? This is written up to work with Public Works Director Noli. He's basically indicated that these are the roads he thinks we ought to do. Do we want to direct him to prepare the package for possible action on February 27th, or do you have some other pleasure in terms of different roads, that type of thing to do? So that's up for discussion. Go. Yeah.
So I do want to remind you that last year I had applied for the local road improvement grant, and we did qualify for that, for Beeheim Road to be done, so that we get reimbursed once the work is done. It's just a little over $19,000, so we'd still be under budget by doing these 2 roads that Jerry has pointed out, but specifically we do need to do Beeheim this year if we are going to request that reimbursement with that grant money, to gain that grant money, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
A couple questions, if I may, Mr. Chairman. More pertaining to the ratings and the larger of the 2 sheets. So just scanning through, Anoka is listed as a 9. Higher is worse?
10 is perfect,
Oh, 10 is perfect, okay,
and
those are
one
the roads
is
we did.
incredibly bad.
Okay, then that makes sense. So then I guess I'd revise my question is why are we doing a 7? Beheim is listed as a 7 for this section, and Glengarry is listed as this is why I thought higher numbers were bad. Because the ones that we have, that section of Glengarry is also a 7. And I don't mean to show any self-interest here, but I'm living on a 4. I'm getting beat up pretty healthy by my neighbors about it.
There are several sections of Beheim, are you looking at
Yep.
the correct one?
So on the third page? Yeah, third page, couple 2 and 3 lines from the bottom. Was it Glengarry, right? Yeah, Glengarry, Marcel Mola, Charles Marcel, that's a 5. So that's all that area there.
Yeah, I can assure you, I drove the road and I would never give it a 7.
Well,
I think the south
I
bell.
wonder what we're doing.
Yeah.
Can I just ask for clarity, and I'm not sure, did we type this up, Kathy? Are these,
No, we did not type these up.
okay, is there some inconsistency between the ratings on these and the ratings on the big sheet that was done this fall?
Didn't notice that. This we did type up, I did not type up this.
Well, I understand that. Do we know whether they're consistent or not, I guess is what I'm asking. I mean, this has got Beheim as a 3, and we're saying that on the other one here that, is it Ayers put that together? Is that the section, are they calling that a 4? I'm just trying to see if there's a bit of inconsistency in that. Can you help us with that, Chris, or not?
Yeah, I mean, looking at what Supervisor Durr is looking at, the rating they've given it is a 7. On the sheet where we've kind of done the estimate, it's rated at, what, a 3? Kind of,
But you think there's no way that section we're proposing to do, there's no way it's a 7?
no,
Okay.
Hate to ask the obvious, but do we pay for these?
Yeah.
We pay for this?
Yes.
Sure.
I didn't do them for you, so I don't know.
Ayers did.
Well, if you're gonna do that, I guess I'm looking at my street down south of me there, and I mean, I'm just, for reference purposes here, but.
Well, you live on a state highway, so we can scratch yours.
Oh, Glendale Road's a 5, I think it's like a 10.
Oh, no, that's right, you're on Glendale.
Yeah, you got a good one, I got.
I think it's a 10.
This road says it's a 6, and I mean, we've got, the road's breaking apart, literally chunks of concrete are falling out of it, coming out of the ground, and we gotta straddle it with cars so we don't run into potholes. I don't understand a 6 on that. And is this correct here where it says surface in a year, is that the last time it was paved? Right here? What does that mean?
Yeah, I think that's the year of the last improvement.
That's
The year of the last
1970.
You
And
talking about
I think
Bend
that's
Road?
probably right.
You're talking about Big Bend Road?
No, Town Line Road,
Oh, Town Line.
Town Line.
All right, this is all interesting discussion, but I'm not sure we want to have it on the YouTube where every supervisor is complaining about the condition of his road or
No,
not.
it's
No,
not
I'm
a
just using
complaint
it as-
about my
I
road.
understand,
I'm trying
that was
to
tongue in cheek.
associate,
That was tongue in cheek, Mike.
I'm trying to associate why are we doing roads where the phaser is definitely in the better half when there's a bucket load of roads that are in the lower half. And now, and apparently the answer is because the engineer doesn't necessarily concur with the phaser ratings. Right?
I would agree.
Yeah, I respect your
In
opinion.
that response, in that specific, yes.
Behind, we have the grant for, correct?
Where do you want
Right.
So that's a good, I think we should take a ride around, or have Jerry take a ride around and do a rating.
Jerry, good, bad, or indifferent, and I'm not here other than, I mean, Kathy and I have sat with him. Jerry, not here to speak for him tonight, but he is supportive of doing these roads. I mean, I suppose we could defer on it, look other ways, but am I correct on that, Kathleen? I don't want to represent that, isn't he? He's supportive of doing these roads, so, I mean, the choice before it is tonight, is we can tell engineer Janelli to put the package together so we can authorize putting it out for bids on the 27th of February, or we can delay this and try to dig into it deeper and come back. I do, and I think we want to, I'm not trying to, it's the will of the board, prevent people from looking or digging deeper, but I really would like to think our best interests are in getting this moving along sooner rather than later, so we can get it out to bid. But actually, like to even be looking at crack filling and slagging and all that kind of stuff in the next step. Go ahead.
So, just to make you feel a little more comfortable, can we have them move forward on doing the work for February 27th as what was placed on the agenda, with engineer Janelli also updating the rating for us for these two roads? If
I'm
that's
sorry,
the
run through that
concern.
again?
If the concern is that the rating doesn't qualify, the PASER rating that we got from AIRS and the rating that we have on the sheet does not line up, should we have engineer Janelli, when he's doing the work on what's going to be needed in the package, also give us a new rating for those two roads? Give us another second look at those two roads,
But isn't that the rating that's on this sheet?
estimating that.
So what else would he look at? I mean, the rating for Beeheim on here is 3, and Glengarry is 4.
But the rating we got from PASER says, or from AIRS says that this section is 7. So it's a discrepancy, and if you wanted to clean that up, if you feel you want to clean that up, that was the discussion. You could also ask him to make sure that Glengarry is not a 7.
If I may, I might have a suggestion on that point. I mean, if we're gonna redo Eheim, we're ultimately gonna turn it into a 9, right? It's gonna go from whatever it is now to a 9, it's not a 7, it's a 3 or a 4, we're gonna make it better before the end of the year. Maybe there's an opportunity here for the town to, if there are others that you see that are problematic on the spreadsheet that's highlighted, because that's the one that got input to the state, I assume, we could change those after the project. Right.
Hitchhiking on that, with the board, would you be comfortable tonight? I mean, I think we kind of said we're getting the grant money for Beeheim Road, regardless of what the PASER rating is. So move ahead with that. Would the board be comfortable to authorize Chris to go ahead and put together the bid package for Beeheim and Glengarry, with the directive to him to go look at Glengarry for sure and make sure he is comfortable that we should be doing that road? Can we leave that a bit to his discretion so we can move ahead?
I can go along with that.
We'd be comfortable with that?
Yes.
I've already looked at it, and it's
All right.
worth doing.
So
Yeah,
you
it's
think it
worth
should be
doing.
done?
I'm counting 15 roads here that are 1, 2, or 3.
And I think you're right, they need to be looked at again.
And I think we at least need to look at those 15 and say, yeah, we're gonna do Glengarry instead. I might be off by a couple, it was a good glance, I mean, maybe it's 20. I was hoping to keep it like at 10, so maybe we wanna do the 1 and 2s, but I think we need to do a little, does it pass the
Maybe
scope
Let's
test?
do Glengarry instead.
So,
What did I say? That makes sense.
I'm not sure.
Well, we're doing Beeheim no matter what,
Right.
it sounds like, because we got the grant.
Right.
So, just real quick, when we went through roads when I was in 19, one of the things that I thought I got out of our discussion, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that it's good to get the ones that need, get one done that's a bigger project, and then get one that you might be able to save and not have to pulverize and repave. So then they don't all wait until they get to 1s, 2s, and 3s.
Right.
This 4 is a mill and overlay base instead of a pulverize and repaint.
Mhm.
I think that was
That's
one of the
cheaper.
decisions when you were going through this
Correct.
in 2019.
So you're saying that's why you might do a 3 or a 4 before you did a 1 or a 2?
You should probably always consider doing that, because unless you've got no 3 or 4s left, your 1s and 2s aren't getting any worse.
But also,
That's really great to tell people when we're knocking on their door.
also on Glengarry Road, why you get through Marsh?
But that's the theory. It's like if you would choose the 1 over the 3 or the 4, the 1's gonna be more expensive to repair versus the 3 and the 4. And the 3 and the 4 is gonna deteriorate quicker and more readily than the 1. The 1 can't get worse.
So
There's no zero.
his message to you is, look at it, look at your road where you live, and if it's a 1 or 2, don't expect it to be repaid soon. It's not gonna get any worse. That's the message, right?
Gravel out and start spreading it.
There we go. All right, so how are we gonna move forward? I mean, can we, my fundamental question is, we got stuff to fix and clean up and think through. Are we comfortable enough to take action here to direct Chris to proceed in this manner if he is convinced it's the thing to do? That's maybe poorly written, but what else are we gonna do?
I would agree with that, and I would make that a motion.
Okay, so your motion would be to direct Engineer Janelli to prepare the bid package for possible action on February 27th for Beheim and Glengarry, unless he discovers something that greatly changes his recommendation. Was that fact, is that the essence of it?
Yes.
Okay, second the motion. I'll second it. Mr. Stigler seconded. Okay, further discussion? All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
That enough direction for you, Chris?
Certainly. And I think what I might do, given some consternation, is bid the 2 segments of Glengarry separately, so that you can pick one or both, depending on how the prices actually really do come in for the bids.
Okay.
Give you some options.
Okay. All right, then we're finished with that. 16B, business. I don't know whether you need to formally act on it. It's indicated on the agenda to accept the resignation of Kathy Piala from the Board of Zoning Appeals, because Kathy was placed onto the Planning Commission. She is resigning from the Board of Zoning Appeals. Does the board feel it necessary to take formal action on accepting her resignation, or can we just acknowledge it and move on? Okay, we'll just acknowledge that and move it on. C is discussion possible action on operator license for Emily. I won't even try to pronounce it. EYSSATSAUTIER, working at Tally's Tap and Eatery. Get information on her in your packet.
Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion that we approve the operator license for Emily Esoteric Tally's Tap.
Okay, so second the motion. So that was Supervisor Atkins, Supervisor Drew. Any discussion? If not, all in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, and item 16D, I asked Kathy to put this on discussion, possible action on Green Valley Road cul-de-sac remnants. If you remember, Corey Kurth was here and spoke under citizens' comments at the last meeting. Jerry Noley and I went out there and met with 2 folks from the city and 2 folks actually from the company that, private company that plows her driveway, and with her Friday of last week. So we had a whole group of people there. Cut to the chase, I think there will be some additional attention and concern given to plowing. If you recall, she was concerned that she'd like to have people see if, when they go by with the plow, if they could get a foot or so closer to her driveway. It's a bit of a challenge because you gotta hook around her mailbox with the plow with the wing on it. Jerry said he does that personally, so we're gonna try to give that a little bit of extra care to get through the snow season. It's about snow stacking, some of the sequencing as to who gets there first. I think the city was largely exonerated from being the culprit. There are 2 properties on the cul-de-sac. We need to come back in spring and look at that. I know there's discussion about cutting back the remnant asphalt. That can certainly be done. It is going to be a project that is going to entail some expense and everything, because it'll entail removal, changing of drainage ditches, removal of driveway sections and so forth. I actually didn't ask her directly whether she would participate in that cost or not, and she said perhaps a willingness to do so, but there's another property owner involved, so I think hopefully we've got the snow issue under control. As soon as we get out of winter here, that needs to be revisited and see what would be involved and the cost, and if we want to go ahead with it. So anything further than that, I don't think there's any action to be taken on that, but that's an update that at least we attended to that concern. Okay. Item 17, announce closed session. Hereby notify the town board of the town of Waukesha shall convene